Hey everybody, welcome to another Retro Game Night. I am Damon DiCarlo. I am joined with Mr. Player 2, that is Earl Lawrence.
Player two, what's up, guys?
Player 3 here, Michael. Losi is with me.
What's up, guys? How's it going tonight?
Hey man, we're so excited. Earl,
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
Michael, this is
Three.
it. We've literally gotten to the most favorite game. This is the 20th anniversary, not just any anniversary, 20th anniversary of Halo 2. This is it.
I
We are
can't.
officially old.
Yeah. When you said 20 years, again, to date ourselves, I mean, I was in college when this game came out, and it was a lot of dorm play, and it was a lot of fun. But wow, I can't believe it's been 20 years. Amazing game.
I don't need to know what kind of play you did, but we're talking
Yeah.
about Halo 2 in 2004. That was amazing. And yes, you were in college, Earl. I was not in college. I was working. Already, was an old man at this point. Losi was playing this as well. We decided the 20th anniversary of Halo 2 is one to be definitely observed. Obviously, for Retro Game Night, we pride ourselves on retro games. There's a lot to be said about this franchise. There's been a show. I mean, let's just start from the top. Halo 2's anniversary is now in 2024, 20th anniversary. The game originally was released for the Xbox console, Xbox. I want to say I almost want to say Xbox One, but that's really stupid. Just the first Xbox is all I'm going to say.
OG, the
Um,
OG.
this is the second installment in the Halo franchise to the critically acclaimed Halo Combat Evolved in 2001. So that was a very big deal, enough to make now number two. As we know, the biggest part of this was the multiplayer. That was via Microsoft's Xbox Live service. And wow, the memories. I mean, we're talking LAN parties, we're talking internet. And we decided to jump in this game, Losi and Earl and I, and we had a night tonight with a little bit of pizza,
Pizza.
a little bit of beer, a little bit of a night of just having fun multiplayer. And I want to dive
Dude,
into a
A
little bit
little
of.
pizza, a little beer, a lot of suicides, and a lot of tea
There's a
bags.
lot of
oh,
suicides in the game. Let me make
already
it
bringing that
clear.
up. Oh my
Let me just
god.
make it clear. This is just purely in the video game us falling off of things because we are called dumbasses by technical terms, and that's when you know you're really old.
It's
Um,
Dumas.
you don't know how to play a game anymore in your old age. But this is it. We ventured back. This for me was the first time playing it in 10 years. I can count that precisely. I know exactly what I was doing the time that I literally said I can't play Halo 2 anymore because I need to go get a life,
Yeah.
and I still didn't get one. But the point is that I played it. I played the heck out of it, and Halo 3 came out, and that's a whole other thing. But um, Losi and Earl, let's talk about memories. You guys, college years, you played this. What was it like?
Well,
Look,
don't age me too much. I'm in high school still at this point,
let's
okay,
sit down.
guys?
We have to.
You're not that old, but you're old.
All
Losi,
right,
go first.
should I give seniority to Earl
No,
first, or you want me to go?
stop.
Okay.
Stop with the age before
Uh,
beauty. You got this.
no, okay, fine. Yeah, no, gosh, what can I say about Halo? Because there is honestly, I feel like a lot of nostalgia in so many different ways. And for me, I'm so happy that we're covering this because this is something I truly loved, but I admittedly have to say I was never an Xbox guy. I never owned an Xbox. This is something I exclusively played at my friends' houses, and they would bring their consoles over to my house.
Right.
I was mentioning to you guys my 18th birthday was a major LAN party at my house,
Yeah.
and this was the game that we played my senior year. This game came out, of course, my junior year. Up when Halo 2 came out, this was super exciting. Like you said, we were playing Halo Combat Evolved exclusively up to this point. We were every weekend, I can remember this, every weekend, we were hooking up four Xboxes together. We had four TVs. I don't even know, half a dozen bean bags, and we were just going after it because that's the only way you could play multiplayer with Halo at that time.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And it was the the best fun, the most memorable things you can ever think of. That's those are the days. Like I
Yeah.
really think of some of those times with some of my friends. And yeah, dude. So when Halo 2 came out, you're just like, okay, this was it. Everyone I knew of was waiting for the midnight release at the mall.
Yeah, those were the days. Waiting for launch releases. That's something that I just realized. It's raising hairs off, my back here for a second. Not that there's many, it's just, one or two. But point is that I can't believe that we won't see any more midnight launches like that. We live in a
No.
day and age where they're phasing out physical releases and we have digital, which is fine. I'm sure a lot of people will gripe about that. I used to be one. I came to terms with digital when you have to live in a smaller place and you have to downsize a little bit. So yeah, I definitely agree with this. This mention that I never would have thought would have been nostalgic. The fact of doing midnight launch, and now it is.
Oh,
So
absolutely. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
It's weird to think about, right? Because yeah, it kind of started with the game annuals,
yeah,
just slowly started disappearing. But as no one really took note, but it just started disappearing was the game launches, those midnight launches that people got so excited for, and it was a camp out, it was an event itself,
yeah,
just
absolutely.
waiting in line. So
And that was
yeah.
part of the experience because while I wasn't at the midnight launch for this one, I certainly was for Halo 3 and ODST and Reach. I recall half the fun was just getting together with your friends, just waiting for this launch, and you'd be in line at GameStop or other gaming stores such as a Best Buy or something, and you were just waiting for that release. And the moment that you had it, that was already that half of the fulfillment. You were already just so excited for it. Whereas now we're anticipating, but those releases, pre-orders, digital pre-orders, they're just not the same. You don't get like the cool poster. You don't get the cool little like countdown, toy or anything that would mark the occasion. It's just
Right.
like a cool.
There's
It's
no,
that time
there's
to download something, and that's it. And to your point, Michael, it's we don't have we're losing tangibility of our collections.
Very few new titles nowadays do something like that. I can only think of
Yeah,
like Overwatch, some of the Warcraft series,
yeah.
and then the most recent Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. They also had some pre-launch specials, but other than that, I can't. Yeah, it's unheard of.
And
it's
I give major props. We're no way affiliated or sponsored by Limited Run Games, but Limited Run Games is one of the few last crew of guys, and they're like pumping out these games as a throwback, and there's a booklet with it. There's a case. There's things that could be a collector item, and I just almost feel like I hope there's still people that are like us that are interested in it because it's just very limited that this happens. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
Earl, go ahead. I
no,
know you wanted to. You're itching for something here. Go ahead. You want
yeah.
to say
No,
something?
no. We explained. So again, I was in college at the time, and like Losi said, right? So he didn't have the Xbox, but it was that. It's what we see now. I don't want to say now, like maybe a couple of years ago. It's like the Android versus Apple, right? So either you had the Xbox or the PlayStation.
Right.
And then you had your either your Call of Duty or your Halo. Like it was that thing. And then of course you played both. Halo was it's that too. You played it, and I remember dorm nights hanging out at buddy's dorm, and to the point where it's like 2 p.m. Mountain Dew. Sorry, 2 a.m. 2 p.m.
It
2
could be
a.m.
2 p.m.
Mountain Dew.
too.
Could be 2 p.m. Yeah, you're missing classes. You're like, oh yeah, it's the multiplayer that's what got it addicting. When you
Yeah.
would play it, you're like, oh, let's go again, let's go rounds. Campaign wasn't that to me. Like, again, we're not talking on the campaign side, but
Yeah.
I don't remember really playing campaign. I think a majority of my memories come from the multiplayer, and you're getting involved with this, and like Losi said, you're in a room or you're with your friends, and at the end of the night, there will be bad blood spilled where people get upset with each other, and it's just one of
Yeah.
those things. Give it a day, give it two, and let's go run it back on Call of Duty or run it back again on Halo. And Yeah, I tonight we played it like we talked about. I realized that I was not ever good at Halo. I never claimed to be, but it was one of those I got put in my place a little bit with you guys. It was a lot of fun tonight, going through those multiplayer and giving that like nostalgia feel about. I just wanted to get some popcorn and get some top ramen. Just remind me of like college,
Yeah.
crack a Coors Light. But yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight. That was. I mean, after this recording, I'm just gonna jump back on and I'm gonna get some vengeance on you guys. Just
You could try. No.
yeah,
Yeah.
And no, exactly to your point. It's, all I kept thinking while you were saying this, Earl, is that I miss the days of this community of where we still have a gaming community. Let me correct what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to say is the community of where gamers were best buddies and they'd come together, which is the whole point of Retro Game Night. And you lose that obviously online. And I purposefully chose to not do online matchmaking with you guys, as in including other players, because I wanted this couch co-op experience. Not that it's actual co-op, but we're against each other. But I wanted this experience just like it used to be. Let me explain a little bit of how we played to viewers and listeners. We did not have the OG Xbox, though I do have one. It's not in great condition. I didn't have three controllers, ready to go. So I did bust out my Xbox One with the Master Chief Collection. And the reason why I felt good about doing that, there is the throwback with the graphics. You're able to adjust that. And everything was pretty much just as it was. Minor things here and there that were slightly different, but I feel like that collection really paid homage in the best way it could with such a classic game. And you have two versions you can choose from: Halo 2 Classic when it comes to multiplayer, or you can choose the Anniversary Edition, which has much more updated graphics, and even the controls are more on par with like Halo 4,
yeah.
Halo Reach.
More of a remastered you were talking about when you were
Exactly.
walking. I was like, wow, okay. I remember it not being as clear, and of course, technology now,
Yeah.
whether the FPS and the way we're moving, it's so much quicker, it's so much cleaner.
Yeah.
It toggled flawlessly. That's what impressed me.
Yeah, and those are all awesome improvements that happened. And now some viewers and some listeners might be like, "Bro, but you didn't do the OG hookup. You didn't get, the below 60 frame rate and go to 30." And I get that, and we've been there, but I actually appreciated tonight that I didn't have to fuss with that. I didn't have to feel I didn't want it to detract from what the genuineness was of the experience, minus those little setbacks that were now in 2024 probably a little more frustrating. So what I want to know tonight is, with you guys after all these years, was it the same jumping back in all these years later? And I know Earl already alluded to this, that it wasn't favorable in any way, but tell us more, Earl and
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Losi.
For me, it made me realize how much I did not like Halo because I wasn't good at it. Just to be honest, I think I got maybe we played a couple rounds and I had a handful of kills, and I'm like, oh. And of course, you go to winner got up to 25, and I don't know who if you guys split wins or who won. Did you win one and Damien you won one, or I knew I was
You can
last.
brag, Damien, if you want. It's okay.
Oh yeah, well
Oh God, this feels great.
but it was that no.
I have waited this for a very long time. Thank you so much for yeah. No, I mean, yeah, let's just go with the actual truth. Yeah, I did whoop you. Yeah, I did, and you. But no, that's not the point. The point is that we all had a good time. I
Yeah.
just jumped back in with my 10. I was 10-year absence of this whole Halo 2 experience, and I jumped in. God, it felt good. I just jumped in. I was like, oh, oh. Like it's just like you're going to somewhere very cozy, familiar, and I was about to just talk about muscle memory. Like the muscle memory
Yeah.
kicked in. I didn't have to think suddenly what control was what, even though 10 years later, I just jumped in and I was just having a good time with it. And that isn't how any of the games I go to after that long. I don't go to that kind of experience. So this speaks volumes with how much Halo 2 was played, and I do appreciate that. And I think Losi, you were saying you played in college. I mean, did you do LAN parties and all that? But like, did it bring you back to those moments just like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially because we kind of played some of those classic maps, right? And like you said, a few of those things, as soon as you saw the map, you're like, yes, I just warped right back into time. I knew exactly where I needed to go. I knew where the shotgun was. I knew where the sword was. I knew what to avoid. Um, other than I did have to figure out, was it melee? I didn't know how to melee at first, but other than that, like you said, it kind of just is like riding a bike without, you didn't need the training wheels. It's just you just gotta
Took
hop
off
right
those
back
training
on, and
wheels.
it just
Yeah.
took off,
We're
man.
big
And
kids
it was
today.
a it was a lot of fun. I
I
guess I did forget a little bit though, like how much I hated certain things. Like God, that battle rifle, is just that's what that.
Yeah.
Sorry, the assault rifle. The assault rifle, I cannot hated. The plasma pistol can no. But and then you of course gravitates towards certain ones. I like the battle rifle. I like the needler and the
there
sword, of course.
and there is obviously a difference. And when I think we played and I said, man, I can't strafe. And then you guys were kind of joking. And then of course I see Losi and Losi's jumping, right? So there's different strategy with the game. And I even said like, well, how do you run? Like you don't run in this game. And I'm like, of course
Yeah,
I'm
I do
getting
remember that. You were like, how,
multiplayer.
and I'm not gonna lie, I did wish for a split second when we started it, like, let me go faster. Nope, I can't. I
Yeah,
forgot.
you
You
can.
can't do the run.
And again, that's me thinking about another first person shooter game
Yeah.
where there are those tactics that you use to be successful in a game, whether you strafe or you jump. And I remember trying to shoot Losi, even though like I had the upper hand, and I just see him jumping, and I'm like, I can't get him. And of course, he kills me right up, and I'm like, how did I not kill you? But it's just yeah.
I think honestly the best thing about tonight was Earl's reaction.
What?
Your reaction to everything was just see, like Losi and I when we started playing, we're just like old dogs just coming back to game again. We're like, okay, let's do. We're more or less pretty quiet as a comparison to you, Earl, and you were just jumping in with all the feels, like,
Yeah,
oh shoot, oh I
yeah.
just got killed, ooh, you're just all
I
in
killed
it.
you, and then I jumped off the map, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
suicide,
all
not
of those
good.
things, and your reaction to me was priceless and very favored, as you are, of course, very valued on this podcast. And that to me is like one of the things that it plays so well with the three of us is that a reaction is going to be different from everybody. It could be you guys, an expert on a game, and I'm just like, the hell are we doing? What is this? And
Yeah.
these are genuine reactions. But
No, you
I
were pretty
felt
much like,
I
grab
felt
the
like
remote.
I
We're
felt like
playing.
all the times you
Go.
guys playing it was, I've said this before, as cheesy as it sounds, it's actually more entertaining, more meaningful to see you guys do it than than me, who's winning everything.
Oh, shut up.
But that's not the point. Again, let's let's just move on with real things to talk about here that are not pointless.
Please, let's move on. I'm too competitive for this.
I know. Wait, after this, we're playing another round. Just saying, throw it out there.
Friendships will be lost tonight. Bungie. Let's talk about Bungie. But there was a story about this in Microsoft. Losi, you looked this up about the four guys that kept this game going because there was a year that this game finally had to see the end of its online play. Do we recall what kind of like experience that was? You
Yeah.
remember that?
I bet you some people recall this, and if you have not, you can easily Google it. There, YouTube. There's some awesome documentaries. But these guys were actually what would be called the Noble 14. Was what Microsoft ended up dubbing them as, and so they earned this notorious
What a
title.
title!
And
That's like SEAL Team Six.
Right.
right, and so essentially, what had happened, as you mentioned, the biggest thing that Halo 2 provided was the matchmaking multiplayer experience, right? And that was on the Xbox Live experience. In 2010, the new Xbox came out.
Right.
So, with that being said, they had to end that service. And then I believe this was in April 2010. So, Microsoft's they announced the date. Hey, this is the last day. What they didn't mention to the players on that last date is as long as you were still connected, you could actually still continue playing this game. So they said after the first day, there was still about 500 players worldwide that continued to still play for like the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
And this continued for a couple of days. Again, the circumstances were that you had to stay connected, meaning you could not turn off your Xbox, you could not lose your internet connection, and you could not disconnect from the server at all. So, right. So
This
this
reminds
was
me. I'll pause you for a sec to just to, I can't help but crack up. Like if you worked retail at any point in your life, we're closed, ladies and gentlemen, but we can't quite close it until you leave. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just go ahead and just sit down right here and wait it out because we're not leaving. It's the same thing. These guys just did not want to leave and they couldn't close it.
essentially, and some of these guys didn't have an option. Like we kind of joked about earlier, the Ring of Fire, right? So some of these guys actually, some of their Xboxes literally, I guess, smoked away, sizzled away, and that's how some of these guys their Halo 2 career ended, essentially. But there was
Yeah.
14 guys that held out for about 3 weeks. And again, yeah, their only way was to stay connected. They had this huge online following. Everyone was cheering them on. And it finally came down to two guys. I forget the second to last guy, but the last guy, his name was Apache Nasir. And yeah, he has a great dialogue about the whole experience as well. And I know at the
Props to
very
that,
end,
man.
yeah, he paid a tribute. He played an additional 14 hours for each one of those individuals in honor of them, and then one more for the Halo community.
I
So, I mean,
mean,
this guy
top
is
MVP
pretty,
of all time. Okay.
yeah, flipping hardcore. And of
Yeah.
course, he deserves his legendary video gamer status.
And I saw that they're still doing competitions, right? Like,
I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm
Halo is
pretty
just,
sure they still are doing it. Yeah.
yeah,
It's. I
yeah.
I
mean,
got
I've been to two tournaments. I want to say one was Halo 2, one was Halo 3 in my area, and of course I was in like 1000th place. It was awful, god awful. I got slaughtered. It was awful, but the experience was great just to see everybody so into it, and I hadn't attended many gaming competitions, but that there's those that get together and they train for this for months, and when they do it they they have to prove that number one, they're not hacking, they're not tampering
yeah.
with anything, they are legit real players that have talent. And I was just dumbfounded to see these
That,
people play so
yeah,
well.
that's exactly what I saw. I was like, oh, I went on YouTube. I was like, okay, look at Halo, look at some of the stuff that they have, and they still had the competition going. And of course,
Yeah.
as you're going down the rabbit hole, one of the number one cosplay costumes is the Halo, the guy, and it's so cool to see. And it's like, man, I want one of those costumes because it
Yeah.
just holds that. It hold, it's like one of those top video games.
Well,
You
it's
see.
it's let's be honest, it's Stormtrooper 2.0. It's a
Yeah.
way more badass
Yeah.
Stormtrooper.
Stormtroopers that don't miss.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
pretty
do want to,
much.
yeah. The series that's coming out, I know we talked about it also, the actual series that this movie or the show. I do want to actually watch it, but it looks amazing. I know
So,
Damien. Uh,
yeah, I mean, I'll lightly touch on it just because, I mean, being the anniversary, there's the
Yeah.
impact that this game, this particular one, has had on the franchise. Number one, you had uh, one of the big things that was a first was for this franchise at least dual wield weapons, because you didn't have that in the first one. So suddenly you have your one gun, and then now all of a sudden you had a button for two, and double the action. You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing about the lasting impression was Halo 2 was about dual wields. Everybody always talks about that. Like, bro, the two needlers, or the two
mhm.
SMGs or whatever, you had, was a big, big thing. These these impressions of in the gaming, community and culture has now totally transcend into a new time and era where now we've had a show where if you've watched Halo, number one, I want to say it's very, very good. I don't care who disagrees with me on that one. I just found my own pleasure in it. I know it's not like super 100% accurate to whatever, of the games that you've played, but it's their own rendition. And for the most part, they played great homage to the games, and Halo 2 was no exception. It was there. The elements were there, and um, I'm just super happy that, it's continued because it could have just stopped with one, two, or three, and then that was it. But it kept going. Sales were phenomenal. I mean, if we look at the records, I mean, it was released, and it did a record 1.5 million copies that were pre-ordered 3 weeks before the release.
Wow.
3 weeks, like that's enough to. I mean, that's like a franchise pre-order thing. I mean, this was just it had one other game before that, so it was already that big. No shows, no major impressions into our gaming community other than the first one.
Yeah.
2.4 million copies were finally sold, earned up to US $125 million in its first 24 hours.
That's
I
crazy.
mean,
Incredible.
do we talk about the kind of money? I mean, it's just good God. I mean, no wonder it continued, but it's definitely something to be thankful of. I'm very, very appreciative of.
Amazing.
Um, I implore you guys, if you don't have Halo 2 or, the OG console, I was pleasantly happy with the Master Chief Collection. Try it on that. If you have Xbox One, I'm sure most of us do, or the next one over from that. But what I want to know at this point with you guys, lasting impressions now, 2024. I want to be able to now have. I'm going to throw you a curveball, both of you. I want to
Okay.
have two ratings, each of you. One, what you initially thought. Two, what we now think in 2024. And you have to be honest with the 2024 because we have come a long way with first person shooters. We've come a long way with Halo.
Yeah.
Improved Halos, improved first person shooters. So we're getting two separate ones. So I'm going to say, as per our very scientific, ultra complicated, very patented, and no, our rating system that we have, of course, our typical first one, which is Showcase. Showcase, it means you absolutely love it. It's presented in your, office, in your game room. It's the best thing you've ever had. The other one, the second rating, is one and done. You love the time you had with it. Worthy of a rental if so willing to not going to do it again. And then the third rating is just toilet paper. Just means poo poo. So I want two different ratings. And we're going to wrap up this amazing episode because all we talked about was just multiplayer goodness and the experience and nostalgia. So let's start with Mr. Losi first. Losi, I want first your rating for the OG experience of Halo 2 for the original Xbox console. And then I want, after that, your review for the Master Chief sort of redone version in 2024 in your experience now.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. And I have to be very honest with myself with these reviews,
Mhm.
because again, as I admitted, not an Xbox owner, but I played the heck out of this game. I would say at least every weekend, we got together, we played this game. It's just that was what we did. This and Slurpees, it just went hand in hand, Slurpees and Halo. So I, oh man, this is really tough for me because, like I said, I didn't own it, but this was critical. If there is one Xbox game I'm probably owning, it's probably Halo.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that this is definitely it deserves, the highest showcase possible for the Xbox Series. Absolutely. Would I say though it's the greatest game of all time, like you kind of alluded to in the very beginning of this podcast? I cringed a little bit. But
Right.
for Xbox, I think it's the pinnacle. And when we replayed this game, I yeah, the Master Chief collection was pretty cool. I'll have to say that it was pretty cool. Toggling back and forth between the graphics was extremely impressive.
Mhm.
Um, but what I honestly enjoyed the most was the pure, simple shooting fun. Halo is not overcomplicated. It's not simplified either, though. It's the perfect balance for an FPS. And I don't want to go into too much detail with that. And I feel like we could probably go into a debate with that as well, but I would have to give this a showcase. And yeah, and thank you guys for inviting me and playing because damn, that was fun.
Yeah. So that was
Absolutely, it was fun.
2 for 2. So you're doing showcase back then,
So
showcase now.
yeah, let me make sure I'm clear on this. So you're doing a showcase for both versions, or you're doing for one and the other a different one?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I wouldn't showcase pretty much any Xbox games except for probably
Yeah.
this and like the Halo series.
So showcase straight across the board for both versions.
Yeah, and I mean it's hard not to
It's fair.
showcase Halo.
It's
It's
absolutely
just
fair. Yeah.
oh,
Uh,
I would not be able to sleep with and yeah.
and that, no, and I appreciate the honesty because that's something that, I struggle with on the show. I don't want to be brutally honest to a point where I'm a turnoff, but at the same time, I have to be. And even if it is just redundant. So, Earl, let's go with your review, both for the OG when you're first experiencing it
Okay.
versus now in 2024.
Yeah, you know, again, Losi, you had some key points. But for me, the game, uh, original play, for me, it was and again, brutally honest, it was a one and done. Maybe because I wasn't good at it or whatever, but
Are we
you know,
talking both versions, both times in your life?
no, no. Well, right. We're talking about the first time it came out.
Yeah.
It was amazing, cool. We're all playing it. I'm playing with friends and stuff. It was a one and done. I think through the years, I got to appreciate it more, and then playing it with you guys and the remastered version. Now I'm showcasing this because of that, because of what we're talking about, because I see the impact it had, and Losi brought it up the perfect way is if there was an Xbox game, he's not a if there was one Xbox game that he would just go to, it's Halo, it's this game. I would be in that same boat, be like, you know what, throw on Halo, and then maybe I'll go. Now I want to play the campaign mode. Even just we haven't talked about it where I don't remember playing it much. It was always about the multiplayer feel.
Yeah.
Now that the time has gone 20 years now, again, we talked about how much it's impacted and how much this game itself has grown first person shooter games. I've grown to respect this game to now showcase it. But before, I was just a one and done, cool. You guys play it, I'll watch and I'll hang out with you guys and we'll just hang out in the dorm or just whatever, just chat about whatever. But now I have this respect about this game really changed and
Yeah.
was a platform for future games, especially like first person shooters, and then now evolved to a TV series and a movie. Those are things that you kind of want to look back and be like, you know what, I took it for granted earlier in the time that it was, maybe because I was playing another game or had my eyes set on Call of Duty or whatever it was. But at the time, original when it first came out, it was one of those let's play, let's hang out, kill time, one and done. But now I'm got that itch to be like, this is a showcase for sure, all the way. Yeah,
Totally agree. I see what your point is here on the I can see what you mean about appreciating it more in hindsight, looking back
yeah.
and looking back now with these little things that we brought up that don't exist anymore. Getting together as
Mhm.
now modern games don't permit with doing online rather than getting together. I should say it doesn't permit it, but more like it makes it that much more easier to just say, I'll meet you online. I don't have to come over. I
What
got
is
my own stuff going on. And,
yeah?
and
What's
to
your
a certain degree, it makes it a little easier for sure, where you can catch up and play games. But this is what I valued. And in 2004, when I played Halo 2, I
Mhm.
was excited because Halo 1 was already really cool. Did I think it was the greatest thing? No. It was cool. That was a cool game. Did I beat the campaign? No. I played a little bit of it with my friends and it was just that was a cool game. Halo 2 came out and I got excited because the multiplayer was something that I kept getting told from all my friends, dude, we can all play and we can all split screen. We have to do this. And it got so hyped for me that when I finally did do it, I mean, it was just the earliest known showcase I could ever say. It was just like, dude, I cannot believe that, this game here now, Landline, we're all together This is the funnest night ever. We have to have an all-nighter. We have to do this, we have to do that. We got to plan a weekend. I got to ask my mom if she can drop me off. And, it was all this stuff as young kids, right? We're just like, we got to be able to get this done. We want to do this together. Then it became competitive. Who was the better one? Screw
Yeah.
you, I'm the better one. Hey, you're the better one. This whole thing created such a really big impact. Now, in 2024, going back, I say again, it's a showcase. So just like you, Losely, to me, it's double whammy only because the experiences I had before played a big part as to what I think of it now. And holding up in terms of controls, in terms of improvements in later Halo games, I'll state it right now. I feel like this game still holds up even now, even with its imperfections, as far as I'm concerned. I am ultra happy with it. There is, though, another game I will say is better in the Halo franchise, which will I'll tell you guys when we get there. But as far as I go with this one, showcase on both ends. It's not fair for me to say it's a one and done. I literally can't say that with this game, and I'm happy with it. And I'm happy we got together, and I'm happy we did this. I'm happy that we do this podcast. I'm glad that we have what we do, and it's so special because this is the stuff that it's made for. This is, we have the ability to talk with everybody about this. We can still keep this alive. We're those guys, SEAL Team Six of the gaming community, that will keep this alive and nostalgia. God damn it!
And the best part about it is really just talking about it and having to relate with our audience. And people may feel the same way, or they may agree to disagree, or you might have someone that be like, yeah, I like, for me, I took it for granted. I was like, well, and maybe because of selfish reasons, I wasn't that good at the game, but I still enjoyed watching my friends play it or play it. And it was this one, it always had this household name, Halo. And you heard Halo, game on. Like, like, we're all going to hang out, we're all going to play, we're all going to, whatever the case may be. This is one that brings the people together. Now, especially with where we're seeing it go, and again, replaying it with you guys, now I'm like, man, going to those cons, going to other things and seeing people dress up with the, all things Halo. And it's like, was it really that cool? And I played it now and I'm like, F yeah, that was
Yeah,
awesome. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it PG, but yeah, I was like, that's awesome. It was,
yeah.
it was,
No, it was, especially looking back, I can see that. And speaking of cons, I definitely want to take a moment to just there. There was a gentleman that spoke in our Q&A at our panel, and I just, I don't remember his name. I did meet him briefly, but shout out to you for that question, and that's something that stayed with me so much so that I actually posted it on my personal Instagram. But it was something about relating to remasters and how
Mhm.
does it diminish, everything else that has happened in terms of, now that there's remakes. And I personally still that comment from a fan of what we do has truly impacted me in my material, to know that now I know even more clear that this is something that does not go away. You can't I cannot throw away an original Halo 2 for Xbox in its case, even though I have a remastered better version of it. I just can't. Why? Because I loved it. I can't do it. And that's big props to our listeners and our fans. And I don't remember your name, but if you hear this, definitely drop us a DM. And I don't know if you'll ever get this, but you really impacted my material. So props to you.
He's a subscriber. He'll see this when it's out. But yeah, props to you, man. Thanks for even coming out
Shout
to our.
out.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
You guys are
Yeah.
beautiful. You guys are awesome. We need to really, really wrap up here and tell everyone where we can find each other. Michael Osi, you were the first one and most popular tonight, MVP. Tell us where we can find you on social media, sir.
All right. Try to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Instagram, Michael_Lohse, Lohse. I know everyone gets that wrong. So don't try to say it and spell it.
Mr. Earl Lawrence, where can we find you?
You could also find me on Instagram. Hey, Earl Lawrence.
Hey.
Hey, every time.
Every time.
Hey.
You can find me and my shenanigans, Damien_DeCarlo, RetroGameNightPodcast.com. Until next time, everybody, keep calm and don't forget to game on. Good night, everybody. Pew pew, pew, pew.